client case study here with Rich. So he's had severe back pain for just over a year. Like most people, been to see a few handful of people who's come to see me. For him, he's had a whole range of pain medication thrown at him, but no actual sort of addressing the underlying issue. So what we're doing here, we're just running through a provocation test first of all. So here we're just running different positions, trying him walking, just to see what irritates his back and causes his pain triggers to fire. So he had some sensitivity to walking, but his biggest thing that he said was actually sitting, and it would suffer like a sciatic type pain in his legs, in the back of his legs and his hips and his glutes. So being in that position straight away, he could feel that pressure and pain start to come on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to test him for flexion to see how that affects it. So I put him into lumbar flexion, let him slump. So he had an increase in pain in the lower back, but it didn't really change the sciatic-like pain in the back of his legs, which is telling me that it might not be a discogenic type sciatic pain that he's got. So just to further test that, we added a little bit of compression in that slumped position. So for those with sciatica, it should almost act like an on-off switch and really turn on that sciatic pain. But for him, it was not. So he had a bit of pain in his lower back with the compression, but it wasn't really affecting the sciatic type pain that he was getting. So I wanted to test him with a bit of compression using a small sort of 5 pound, 2 kilogram weight here. And we're just getting him to extend it away from his body to increase that compression to see if that makes him a little bit sensitive. So it's making him a little bit sensitive to his lower back. So we tried adding a little bit of a brace to see if that would help. And instantly he noticed a bit of improvement in the pain in the actual lower back. So he felt a bit more stable. So that's a bit of a clue that he's using the wrong muscles to kind of hold himself together. And we can do a bit of training with a brace to help that. So we know Rich is definitely flexion intolerant and a little bit of intolerance to compression, but bracing will help. So now I'm checking for extension intolerance here, because if I can use extension as a tool to help alleviate some of the problems caused by excessive flexion. So here we're just testing his end range, and we're also going to test him sort of twisted to either side just to check and see what his facet joints are up to, and see if this potentially could cause a problem, which means we can't use this as a tool. So extension tolerance was pretty good. So here I'm just checking to see if a disc recovery position could be a useful thing for him to use, as he can use this throughout the day anytime he feels a bit compressed from sitting down too much. We can use that to refresh the shape of his disc and buy back some bank account, but also use that as a way to manage some of that sciatic-like pain that he was getting. So after 4 weeks, we can see, comparing the walk on the left when he first started to the right here, he's walking a lot more natural, he's more upright and less heavy on his feet, so we've got a win there. Okay, let's have a look at some of the exercises he's currently using. So one of his big wins has been using the McGill curl to start building that brace technique, and that's really helped to hold himself together. So again, in the tests, we tested to see that was going to help him when we did the test with the weight in his hand. So being able to sharpen this skill has kind of helped him day to day, help sort of take some of the load away from the muscles in his back. So the way Rich was walking in the first sort of assessment session, we could tell that his glutes weren't really up to scratch. So this has been one of the key exercises from the initial stages, this seated glute squeeze from Dr. Andrew Locke. It's a great way to start building that glute control and awareness. So they actually start putting their weight and doing things to help control the hips and of course take work away from the lower back. The next biggest thing we have to really work on is lateral stability. So you can see here on level 1 side bridges, on this left side, you can see there's a little bit of resistance in his hips to kind of get that foot extension, just looks a little bit awkward. And if we compare it to the right's a little bit more crisper and cleaner. So the left side is where he gets most of his sciatic-like symptoms. That's an indicator to me that a lot of his sciatic type symptoms are actually muscular imbalances that are going on.